Alright, a continuance from the last time we were talking. Is there a hill beyond the West Polaris or the East or whatnot? So I was kind of looking around and I'm just connecting dots, and you just kind of give your take on it and see what you think about it. But it's pretty connecting. So you got the center Polaris in the center, and then this right here is kind of like the same as the sun, because when you see the sun, you see it right there in front of your face. Well, you see the top of the Polaris right in front of your face as well. And it's just a perspective illusion. So when you see the sun appear to go down, it's not setting, it's just going in perspective, and you're just looking at the top of the dome. So yeah, unless you were standing right over Rupus Nigra, you wouldn't be able to look up and see it right above your head unless you were right over Rupus Nigra. So there's 3 Polarises that we know of, and I found quite interesting enough are these charts that line up with it perfectly, and they are the 9 wonders of the world. Check it out. Suggest you get familiar with this Portaelvcis. That's in Latin. It's the same thing, but I think there's a couple of different versions of it, and it pretty much shows that you're here. This would be the kingdom of perpetual twilight. This would be the inferno, like severity. This would be like an enchanted realm, and then this is like the beauty area. So it's like this is where heaven is. All this right here is said to be like the levels of the different heavens, and then this is being the top one, the crown, where the king sits, or the queen, or whoever. So very interesting, isn't it? You should check it out on Google, because there's a bunch of them floating around, different kinds, and it explains you are here, and this one is typically seen as a black kingdom, which would be like the black sun. Let me show you a different one. Here it is again. There it is. The Black Sun Kingdom, which is not like a hill or anything. It's like a kingdom, which would be like the entrance into the void of creation from down below. So it's kind of like a Pac-Man game. It's like a loop-de-loop. And then all of these different Polarises would lead to all these different ones. So the foundation of the earth would be us, and this would take you straight up. Severity is like right there, so I guess if you went here, you could end up here or something like that. That's kind of like what this kind of says. But it's just, you know, hypothetically speaking, you would have to get to Rupus Nigra to even consider going, or to the Arctic ice ring to get to either one of these spots. Pretty interesting. Splendor, okay, Splendor is right there. Very fucking interesting. Eternity and kingdom right below us. The foundations of the earth is the earth, and this is literally like the 9 wonders of the world right here. Let's check out another one. And this one here is quite interesting because it speaks on how from up above one can be casted down to one of the sides, in which, let's see, where's severity at, if it's in this, and the tree goes straight to the center. So kind of makes you wonder, that's why a lot of those center tree stump diagrams with the tree going up in the center, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. It's because maybe this tree really just went all the way up, all the way through, and the one where we're at inside of Midgard Earth or whatever, with the dome or whatever have you, has been disconnected. And I guess its root would be Rupus Nigra, which would lead straight to the kingdom, the bottom one, if that makes sense. So the one that we're at is like chopped out. It's a living, super smart tree, so it probably still lives up top, but it goes all the way up, perhaps. So I'm just saying, you know, I haven't seen it when it stood, but I mean, I imagine it probably just goes straight up into the Polaris. That's some shit. And this one here is the tree stump that is said to be the devil head that swallows ships and men whole from 4 rivers and angles. So it has 4 faces. It's really just Rupus nigra. And then you go inside, and then there it is, kingdom upside down. If you take a look at these people here. See that they're all standing upside down in the land of perpetual twilight. So this is just like to demonize that kingdom, pretty much to scare people from. Don't you even think about going to the North Pole? You will be swallowed by a giant demon head and into the belly of the beast. Here it is again. There it is, one of the side realms. It's got like 9 wonders or whatever have you. The tree goes all the way up through and through. See what I'm saying? Very, very interesting. And there's apparently a serpent that swims in the waters between each of the dimensions, and there's nothing but water. Now that's some shit. Yep, there it is again, one of the sides. Raging fire. It talks about it over and over again in all these different, these different sources here. And people can be ported. It's like a loopy-loop, a wormhole, if you will. There's one that goes in the bottom. Same shit. And here's this one. Here's one that I like to show a lot and talk about. See how the tree connects and goes all the way up through and through? And then this one kind of deceives you a little bit, because whereas you see the tree stop at the top, it almost kind of suggests that it ends there. But as we've seen in all the other ones, the tree goes all the way through and through. And on this one, down and below, it goes through and through. And which, maybe if that's the flip side, then maybe it would be upside down. It's really hard to say. But then these are the mineral waters that flow through below the earth, the mother female earth. Very freaking interesting. And of course, this one's for all the shields. They're gonna say, oh, well, there's just no way that any of that was just a doctored Polaris picture. No, here's a million different Polaris pictures, all time-lapsed. They all do the same thing. Alright, it's for real. The Polaris spins, and it is the zodiac that never changes. And here we are again. If we just take a good look at these here, it's very freaking, it's all over the place pretty much. That tree just continuously goes all the way up the layers. And it suggests, 9 different wonders, not 9 planets, but like 9 different dimensions, if you will. And they're all reachable, which I imagine if you go into any of these, there would be like a Polaris to connect to each one of these. So you'd have, boom, Land of Perpetual Twilight, where we're at right here, this kingdom, bam, with 3 Polarises, just like the ones that we've seen. It really breaks it down. But for you to know for yourself, you had to explore these places for yourself. You had to go maybe to Rupus nigra and hop on the Aurora Hyperboria. Jesus, man, it's probably like a beam that goes straight out this bitch, I bet. Let's check it out here. So ask yourself, is there a hell beyond the West Polaris or the East Polaris? Or is there a great beyond of wonders beyond the Polarises? Period. Do the research yourself. Stay awake.